Are you doing, beloved?
Attention, attention, my black brothers. What I want y'all to do right now is take out the do-rag, the silky, tie it down. I want to see the waves glistening. If you got nappy hair, pick it. Don't let nobody discourage you.
Ariel.
Black boy, black boy.
So how was your Valentine's Day?
It was good.
Oh.
Did you share it with somebody?
No, I'm single. Well, sneaky. I taught class, and I can't think of a better way to spend Valentine's Day. But yeah, I'm single.
That actually sounds great.
Oh yeah, that's the world. We the listeners know now. Before we have got through. I went on a date with a friend. It was one of my girlfriends. We went to a restaurant in DC. I'm located in DC, and it was really good. I have not had a Valentine's in God knows how long. So
Where in DC do you live?
So I live in Maryland, but I live like on the outskirts of DC.
Where?
I went into DC. I live in Silver Spring, but
I grew up in Hyattsville, right?
Yes, no. So I used to live in Hyattsville as well before I moved here a couple years ago. So
Doug, when did you leave Hyattsville? Because he was there just like a year and a half ago.
Oh no, years and years ago. No, I went to college in 1980. And then I moved back to DC. I lived with my parents in Hyattsville for about 9 months. Moved into DC, and then I moved to Boston.
Oh wow.
Wow, listen, the more you know. I work on so it's like I know a lot about that area as well. But what did you do, Derwin?
Well, I wasn't fortunate enough to have a Galentine's, nor did I have any. Well, it's not that I didn't have anyone to spend time with, but it just wasn't. It wasn't Valentine's worthy. So I worked. I went to work for the nighttime. That was pretty fun. It was cute, and by the end of the night, I got what I needed. So it was wonderful.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Word. Listen.
Swipe left, swipe right, swipe left.
I had me an amazing meal, so I was not getting anything but sleep that night.
And I had me a snack.
Well, that explains positions right there.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy, Lord Devery.
And I'm Derwin King.
And welcome back to another episode of That Black Boy Joy, where we create a space where boys can be themselves and
so much more. Bitch stole my line, huh?
As you all can hear, we have a guest with us. We have the amazing Doug Spearman with us today. Derwin,
Yes.
introduce us.
DC native and Indiana University graduate. Doug is an American actor, writer, producer, director, and creative director. And his stage work includes the American premiere of The Ice Pick, the Tony Award-winning South Coast Reps premiere of The HoloLands, and the critically acclaimed production of The Back Eye at 2010 Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, Scotland. Did I say that correctly? Is it Back Eye?
No, it's Edinburgh. It's Edinburgh, Scotland, for one thing, and the Bacchae.
Bacchae. I you know what? I went back and forth. I was like, how do I pronounce this? And I Googled it, and I heard like so many different pronunciations, and I was like, I'm just gonna ask him once we get here.
Well, there's the American pronunciation of things, and then there's everybody else's.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to have a great conversation with you and to delve into your career as well as your current and upcoming projects. So we really appreciate you for spending time with two Black boys.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And can you tell us what Black Boy Joy means to you? We ask all of our guests that because that is why they're on the show. So we just wanted to know, what does Black Boy Joy mean to you?
Whatever brings you joy is your joy. You know what I mean? And, there's a sense of lightness and dancing. And I mean, just the freedom of being on a bicycle at my age is pretty freaking amazing. With my headphones on and great music.
Thank you so much for that.
Yes. So let's go ahead and jump into our Black Boy Joy Spotlight for today. Today's Black Boy Joy Spotlight goes out to Marvin Alonzo Greer, who is a historical interpreter and public historian and activist. His viral TikToks offer a comprehensive and informative presentation about Black facts and key historical moments in Black history. He co-founded the Sons and Daughters of Ham and the Hannibal Guards, two living history organizations dedicated to interpreting the lives of African Americans in the Civil War. Under his leadership, the Sons and Daughters of Ham were recognized by the National Park Service with the National Capital Region Hartzog Award for Excellence in Group Volunteering. And in 2021, Marvin Alonzo was profiled in People magazine as a Black activist, artist, historian, and changemaker. I've really been getting my life watching his TikToks this month. Like, no, seriously, because they're all so informative. And like, I happen to also know Marvin personally. So he's just like really passionate about history. And it's one of those like really contagious types of passion I just really admire. And I thought who better to give that spotlight to than Marvin Alonzo. So shout out to you, Marvin Alonzo.
I love how people are able to merge like social media and like informative information and allow people to understand the like technicalities of certain things. Like I know some people are like, yeah, you have to dumb it down for social media, but you really don't have to. It's just like making it as convenient and accessible.
Accessible,
So
yeah.
I love how like people are able to merge like informative type of um, platform or informative information to Twitter and TikTok and all of those things. You ready to get into these hot topics? Y'all ready to
Let's
get
jump
to these
into them, girl.
threads?
Go
All
for it.
right. The first one, which is I was shocked about this one. Naomi Campbell and her daughter on their cover of British Vogue. I did not know she was like in the spaces of having a child.
Yeah, apparently she announced it in like May of last year. And I think I vaguely remembered that. But naturally I went about my business. And so when I had seen the cover just pop up on social media, I was like, oh my God, first of all, obviously Naomi Campbell is stunning. But also shout out to her for like really like presenting her baby to us, because I would have seen her just concealing the same way that like Beyonce had, and waiting a lot longer before giving us access to even like an image of her little sweet baby.
Yeah. Did you all know if she told us how she? Because I know we got the picture, but like, did she?
What do you mean? How she had the baby?
Like a surrogate?
Lots of speculation. No one seems to really, no one publicly seems to know. Naomi said her baby is not adopted. So we do know, or we know that she said that it's her biological child. So people are trying to figure out if she like secretly was carrying and then just covering a baby bump, or if she had done a surrogate. It's absolutely possible that she had her baby, that she wouldn't have been the first 50-year-old or 50-plus-year-old woman to carry and birth a child. So
it's also
I don't.
none of our business.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next thing.
Also, none of our business. Like I was trying to lead up to that.
Yeah, that was absolutely going to be my next comment. Like, I don't really care. I'm very happy for her, though. I really am.
I went to her 21st birthday party. Yeah, I went to Naomi Campbell's 21st birthday party. So for the fact that she's like 51 and just now presenting a baby, it's just like poof, mind-blowing to me.
You know, I would tell everyone that all the time. I would literally be like, hey, so I don't know if y'all know.
I was on the list. Not I stumbled upon it. She selected me.
Yeah, I would have exaggerated that too. Naomi could be 70. I'd be like, yo, I went to her 21st birthday party, so trust and believe. So also, this is, you know what? So I want to say, because I feel like we always end up talking about this individual, and like it never feels good every time I do it. It doesn't, because I have genuine concerns, but like you just can't ignore it. Kanye and Julia Fox are. You knew it. You knew it.
Yes.
It is. No, seriously, the last time we talked about Kanye, I was like, look, that man is ill and needs assistance, and this is getting sad. And like, obvious, I mean, you know, I'm a huge mental health advocate. Like, I really care about people getting the care that they need. And it is just so unfortunate that Kanye has such a platform to display how unwell he is right now, because he was really, really, really attacking Kim, and then making that public for everyone, just like harassing her. I just don't know at what point this would like end for him. I don't know how it will end.
Oh, the thing I'm more concerned about is, you say where is it going to end? He's threatening Pete Davidson and blaming it on Kim, and that's the scary thing. It's like, Pete's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And it's going to be your fault. And I'm like, what the hell is that kind of? I mean, but like, that's when law enforcement can get involved, and he could actually end up hospitalized against his will.
Yeah, by force, because at that point, like, you're genuinely creating this unsafe environment for people who've done absolutely, nothing to you.
Yeah, you're a threat to public safety.
Yeah. I mean, imagine the number of people who, I think that's what Kim said too, right? Like, she was afraid that people would respond to him doing this publicly and harm him versus him just getting someone to harm Pete Davidson. That's a lot of power to wield over, public opinion. And unfortunately, there are people who see Kanye as
a god.
Yeah, right. Like, because of his creative genius, all they see is genius, and that's the only thing they're really going to get out of that. And so they would listen to anything he says. And I mean, I don't know what kind of access or what kind of protection Pete Davidson has. I'm hoping the best and most safe for him. But I think it's just gotten to a point where, like, it's not. I think people were still entertained with Kanye shenanigans in the last year and a half. But as we get closer to this coming to a head, I think a lot of people are starting to open their eyes up to how, like, purely dangerous this is now. And then now there's a Netflix documentary about him. So there's also that. I mean, there's always this, like, machine fueling Kanye's rampages.
Yeah.
Well, it's because everybody likes to build up celebrities and to watch them burn. There's, the German expression for this, right?
What is that?
You ever heard the expression Schadenfreude?
No.
It means to take joy and pleasure in the destruction of other people. Schadenfreude.
Wow. Because I think that's what like with this, like, Kanye's mental health is like been the conversation for quite some time after, like, his like mother passing and just like his like him with Kim. Like, that is the like conversation in itself, is like, how can we help this? How can we assist this Black man and his mental health? Because it's very transparent that there is a mental health conversation that needs to be taken, like, seriously with him. But I think people, just like you said, are taking a joy out of seeing his.
They do it with all celebrities. I mean, it's the dark side of being in the public eye. You want, like, I mean, it sells news. It's clickbait. Like, you see those banner ads. Well, the news about so and so is just so sad, and the truth about it's just clickbait. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And anybody's. Being Black. We don't have a long history of treating mental illness among Black people, and we certainly don't have, as a community, a history of turning towards that or even using that as a tool. I mean, I went into therapy. Yeah. Everybody needs some kind of help, especially after the last 2 years that we've had.
I'm just praying for Kanye's mental health, Pete Davidson's safety, and Kim's safety as well, because that is still the father of her children. So
4 kids, I think it is.
Yeah.
Is it 4?
Yep. So just praying for that whole side. And also, just really quick, like, even Lamar's like been having, like, since he's on Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother, that's just a whole nother thing in itself. But like the Kardashians just know how to stay in the mix. So that's a skill right there.
It is. It absolutely is a skill. That is the truth.
Yeah. But we're going to get into why we're here today. The meat and potatoes of the episode. Doug Spearman is with us. Like, amazing. Because I started off, I knew about Noah's Ark, infamous Noah's Ark, and its impact that it had. And then I dived into who you are and all of where the people went after, because I know sometimes people don't want that to just be their, like, lives, and you've still been in the light, and you still, like, you don't want to just be known as Chance. Some people don't want to go through their, like, career and being known as that. You still have been active and busy, so I really am, like, honored to have you with us in this space. But Derwin, I want you to start it off, and then we're gonna keep it going.
Yeah.
Well, just it's not all. Thank you for that, but like I got that part 12 years after I started acting professionally, but I started acting when I was a kid. So that was, like that was a big sort of bump in a long career. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's probably the thing that's had the most worldwide impact of anything that I've done. But that's just, I mean, you think of a career as a continuum. Do you know what I mean? And I had a life before Noah's Ark as a person, as a gay man, as a black gay man, and as an actor. And then Noah's Ark came, and like suddenly, it definitely changed things.
Yeah.
And but I wasn't going to stop.
Yeah. Because I think that happens with people once they get that. Of course, they get that big break. People talk about that big break, but then it's like, do you all remember what I did before that big break? Like there's things that I didn't just this isn't my first show. This isn't my first thing. Do you all know that I took me some time to get here? So I think that people believe in that big break, but then it's like also allow people to have their story be told and not allow them to just be that character. So I just wanted to name that in that space.
Yeah, and speaking of your career, I myself have seen you appear in a number of things. You've been in some of our favorite shows: Star Trek Voyager, The Drew Carey Show, Hughley's, Charmed, which I very much remember that. Huge fan, Mad TV, and Girlfriends, which of course I very much remember that too, because I've watched that show like 6 times over all 8 seasons. So of those, if you remember them, which was your favorite?
Funny story about Girlfriends. I could not get hired as a gay character on Girlfriends because I was not what the showrunner thought of as a black gay man.
Not a surprise.
And I was like, wow. I mean, there was a whole string of shows where I was reading for gay parts, but what they wanted from gay was they wanted a very different kind of person. And I actually asked the casting director, who eventually hired me on the Hughleys once, and I said, "Do I have to suck a dick in your office?" And I'm like, gay? I'm gay. I'll suck a dick right here. Like, like what the hell? Yeah. I mean, they were all really. I mean, like, the Drew Carey Show was great because Drew knew I was an easy laugh. And so he would do stuff to make me laugh. He would like come over right in my face and he'd say a joke to everybody, walk back over and then do the punchline in my face. And I would be like turning around and just laughing into like a piece of machinery or something. I mean, they were all really great for their own reasons. Do you know what I mean? Because just do it. But I think the thing that impacted me that I was the most amazed at was when I got cast in like a little 3-line part on Star Trek, and it was my birthday. It was my birthday, and it was also the day of Princess Diana's funeral. It was, and I remember where I was when I got the message, and I realized that I was going to be a rerun forever. Do you know what I mean? Because Star Trek is always on somewhere, and that was the thing that was the most amazing, was to know that I was part, even just a little tiny part of this huge universe that I'm old enough to have watched the original episodes on television when they actually aired on Sunday nights. Yeah. And then I was going to be part of that. And then it's still going on. And, like, that show's amazing because it has Star Trek Discovery is the first sci-fi show with a black female lead. Yep. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that was extraordinary. So to be part of that was that's one of those things that, like, in fact, a friend of mine here in New Orleans just found out that I was on it, and he can't stop talking about it. I'm like, dude, that was in 97, 95, 97, something like that.
Wow.
He's like, oh my God, you're on Star Trek.
It's like the more you know, it's like, oh, I've been doing this thing. Like, oh, that was in '96. I've been working, moving, and grooving, which
Yeah.
is like it's very interesting when people start to find those, like, I call them like Easter eggs, people that you're like enamored with, and it's once you see that person, then you start to see their face multiple times after that.
Yeah, I always tell people like I went through a whole period where I like, oh, well, you probably can't see it, but like the day you see that, like
Yeah.
that's a pirate flag,
Oh.
and skull and crossbones, and I got that I got that within an hour of Patrick calling me, telling me Noah's Ark wasn't coming back, because I'm like, I got to remember who I am,
Right.
and I'm a pirate. I am not that college professor. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I have all these tattoos. Like Chance in the first 2 seasons of Noah's Ark had a goatee just because I was dating a guy who liked facial hair, and I grew it for him, and I had it. But as soon as Chance was over, I'm like, I am shaving my face, and I am not going to look like him. Because I didn't want to be called Chance anymore.
Yeah.
Like it was bad.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that's why I wouldn't grow it back for the movie. That's why, like, I'm clean shaven in the movie, which only made me look exactly like my father. So
You said now I got to deal with this.
yeah, no, that was freaky because my in the first scene, the coat that I'm wearing is actually my coat. I had it made in Denmark.
Mm.
And they loved it so much. They're like, "Would you wear that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it'll cost you."
Oh,
And when I saw the scene, when I saw the movie for the first time, I was like, "Oh my fucking god, that's C.D. Spearman."
we also had Gary on the show as well, and he was one of the stars and Jumping the Broom. So that was really amazing.
The college student?
Yes, we did. Like, so you and I did, like, this is such a great moment that we can say we've had 2 cast members from that film on here.
Yeah.
But absolutely,
Yeah.
you're the second person from Jumping the Broom to be on this show.
The only person to ever lick syrup off of my pecs. Yeah.
Right. What? Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
trying to make that work was awkward as hell. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, but with Noah's Ark has been like a staple in like Black queer men around the world, and I know you don't want to be labeled as Chance. You said I'm a pirate and all that, but what do you think was like the reason? You want to be the pirate. What do you think was the positive formula to make that show successful for queer Black men? Like, it is still something that I know me and Derwin are like, always like, please give us, please reboot or give. I don't know about the reboot, but like, please give us something as adjacent, or we just, what do you think was that made it so powerful?
Well, the original ad campaign, which is funny because I come from an advertising background, right? So the advertising agency that was hired to brand Logo when they were launching was actually a gay-owned company. Mm-hmm. And so I actually worked without Logo knowing on the ad campaign that launched Logo. You know what I mean? Because I needed, I had to work.
Yeah.
And the original ad campaign was "See yourself, be yourself."
Mm.
That was the original branding line for Logo. See yourself, be yourself. And Black gay men had never seen themselves as a group.
Yes.
With 3-dimensional lives.
Yeah.
And the thing that made me do Noah's Ark was when, I was recast. I wasn't originally, I didn't read.
The pilot that they had originally.
No, I was in the pilot.
Okay.
I'm in the pilot. But before the pilot, we did all these little movies, and there was a guy who was cast as Chance originally. And Patrick called me to replace him, and I was on my way to New York with my boyfriend. And then I got a message from Patrick while I was in Kennedy Airport and I called him while I was waiting for my luggage, and I said, "Well, who is this guy? Tell me about him." And the reason I said yes was because Chance and Eddie were a couple and they had a child. And I had never seen 2 gay men in a relationship and certainly not raise a child. I'd never seen 2 gay men raise a child on television, period, end of story. And so I was like, that's the most revolutionary thing I've ever seen in my life. So that's why I said yes. And I think we as Black gay men had and still until very, very, very recently, had so few images of ourselves in the culture, you know, in on the biggest screens that we had back then, television and film, that to see something like that was just jaw dropping. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Whole individuals. I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what made it. That's why it's important, is because there's no, like, you know, I'm shocked. I live in a town now that actually has a Black gay bar. Do you know what I mean? And a history of Black gay community.
Yeah.
For various and sundry reasons, which we don't have to get into, but there is no, you know, Black gay West Hollywood. There's no Black gay Boys Town in Chicago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So our networks are such we have our own diaspora. We are just so linked, just tangentially, you know, through these quiet little things. But to see ourselves finally, like where everybody else can see themselves, is pretty important.
Yeah, I think
So
it was for me.
I
Sorry.
want to shift gears. And first, I want to say congratulations on Netflix. Netflix's new release, Tall Girl 2. I saw it hit number 4 on their most popular list. So shout out to you.
We actually
for
went
that.
up to 1. We got up to number 1 over the weekend. I don't think. That was pretty freaking amazing.
Love that.
The first one. And I didn't finish the second one, but I'm still watching. I'm still working on the second one. I need to listen. My life has been busy, but I'm watching it. Okay. Doug is like.
I wanted to throw that congratulations in there, since that is like, is that the most recent thing that has dropped for you?
Yeah, that was Friday.
Yeah, and then I wanted to go ahead and start talking about From Zero to I Love You. So I know that you wrote and directed it, and it starred Daryl Stevens, and it is an enjoyable take on that many gay men know personally. What inspired you to tell this story?
Screwing a lot of married men, trying to figure out why.
Yeah, I heard that that was a representation of yourself.
yeah, it was like things. Yeah, it just got. It was just this pattern that would repeat itself and repeat itself and repeat itself. It felt like 20 years of my life went into that, and then the story kept evolving. Early drafts, Pete actually. There's a car accident that we had to take out. You know, like the way that the big breakup happens and the last really big breakup happened was because of a car accident. And and I went through a breakup while I was shooting it, like a 6-year, like my marriage collapsed, the whole 9 yards. The scene between Peter and John is, some of that dialogue is actually what was said in my breakup.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So I put my life into everything.
I was wondering. So I was going to ask you how it had transformed from.
You should see your faces.
No, it really got me.
Nobody got busted like that, but people got busted. And so I was trained very early as an actor. From the time I was 14 to whatever happens in your life, put it in your work. Remember it. You're going to need it. Remember it. So there's everything that happens in my life, a little chunk of it or a copy of it goes into work file. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, you hang. I mean, like, there is everybody in From Zero to I Love You is based on a real person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I actually wrote it so long ago that I wrote it for me to play Peter.
How was that for you to see your life be? You're not in that space, right? So you're directing your story. Like, how was that experience?
Well, you have to let the actors do it because Daryl and I, as both people and as actors, are very different. Yeah. You know, and for a while, I mean, I did things where, like, I like Daryl's sense of gravity is higher than mine. You know what I mean? Like, if you watch Daryl, he walks high on the balls of his feet and he walks with his shoulders. I walk from my hips and my legs. And so I wanted to, like, I actually changed Daryl's walk. But after a while, you just have to give it to them, and you have to trust the actors that you hire and let them tell the story. And it was extraordinary. It was so extraordinary. I mean, they taught me things. And then when you're writing the script, you know, like, I didn't think I mean, there was a whole conversation between Daryl, his dad, and Peter, the characters, his father and his father's then girlfriend. And they say, you know, like, he's like, I don't know what the problem is. Like, and they're like, you have a fear of intimacy. And I remember typing that, and I'm like, do I? And then, you know, like, I heard somebody say, hire better, direct less. You know, give it to them.
I love that.
You know, we rehearsed. They sat with it. If you know, like, it took forever to shoot it, so it felt like it aged in oak.
Now, considering that this story is yours, what made you tell the story from his perspective primarily, as opposed to Peter's?
Well, because when I wrote the novel, I wanted to understand Jack from as long as I can remember. Men have been attracted to me, older men, and I was like, what is it that makes a man go after this kid? And I was like, I want to try to understand, as opposed to just thinking like some asshole, you know, like, oh, men are evil. You know what I mean? I wanted to humanize Jack. I wanted to understand what was going on in him. And so he just seemed like an easier way in. And then I learned about myself as I was writing, you know, like, I always feel like this could be two movies. And I think there are a lot of people that could really relate to. I think there are more Jacks in the world than there are Peters.
If it was from Peter's perspective, we wouldn't know many things of what's going on with Jack, right?
Yeah, and we would never have gotten Carla.
Oh,
who I think is literally
great character.
Keeley is one of the most extraordinary actresses in the world, and the richness of and the context that Carla brings to the story, or the fact that, you know, like that whole scene in Palm Springs where you see the fact that you infer, because you hear her and her mother fighting about it, is that her father left her mother for another woman, and her brother got kicked out for cheating. And now she's married to a cheater. So, you know what I mean? So there's like layers and layers and layers on top of this. And Ron is based on both my father and my brother. And Ron talking about the fact that he's married to a white woman and that his father didn't understand that. Or it was his father in Louisiana didn't understand that and was worried about him all the time. And that translated into the same kind of worry that a parent has for their gay child in the world. And I also wanted to show a black no problem with the fact that their son was gay, but that their son wouldn't settle down.
Yeah,
that's the most important part of that story.
That was probably one of my favorite things about it, was that he was just so protective of Peter. And like, I mean, it was never a conversation about Peter's sexuality, just about the people he chose and what that meant for, you know, the quality of his life. And that was a really comforting thing to watch, was like a black father genuinely, like, you know, loving their kid for who they are in their entirety, and being disappointed not by, you know, their identity, but by the choices they make that make their quality of life sucky.
Harder.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. I thought that was a great decision. And also watching Richard Lawson was it was a treat. Yeah.
So with the film now being out, and, you know, you put so much work into the film, do you have the fulfillment, like, it is off, this is now open to the world, this is now in the public, this is my story being told? Like, how do you feel with it now being, like, out?
Oh yeah, the people that come out to me to tell me that that is their story and it reflects who they are and what they went through is just soul enriching. That it could have had a theatrical release, but and the day that it came out was June 2nd, 2020. I mean, it was Blackout Tuesday. So I'm like, really? But you know what? It's there, and people found it, and you know, for a while we were. I mean, it was trending a couple of weeks ago on Amazon, and then when it came out, and you know, it was also available for DVD, and we were the #1 DVD sold on Amazon for a couple of weeks. Like there's always something else to do.
Yeah, and speaking of, what can we look forward to from you moving forward?
Well, I have a short film that I just did down here. People that I've showed it to has been getting a lot of really good feedback. You're going to be the first person to hear this. I just got the biggest movie of my entire life, and I'm shooting a film starting next month. I'm actually in wardrobe and table read mode right now. I'm in wardrobe fittings. I'm doing a movie with Journey Smollett and I are starring opposite Jamie Foxx and I mean it's really Journey Smollett is starring opposite Jamie Foxx and Tommy Lee Jones in a film called The Burial, and I'm in it. And
Yes!
yeah,
Congratulations!
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 You said and cut gonna be my last words. You said I'm still going to work.
Yeah.
I'm still working.
Yeah.
Where are y'all filming?
Here, New Orleans.
I can't wait. I'm gonna see if I can get up in the background of that. I'll be looking out for. I don't know if you know, but I'm your neighbor. I'm your geographical neighbor.
Okay, stalker.
Did you move there because of Doug?
No, that was a pleasant surprise. That was actually a pleasant surprise.
Like I made the decision to move to New Orleans in August of 2019, and I was like, if you can make a decision to move here in August of anything, then you are a special kind of crazy. How's your carnival season?
I don't want to talk about it.
What? Look, I'm having a blast.
I'm sure you are, Doug. I'm trying to get to work.
Derwin is working. He said he's a working girl. He said,
Okay.
I'm trying to.
Can't eat any more king cake. I'm not eating.
Eating any more king cake, okay?
Yeah.
You don't understand.
What is that? Like, what is it? Like, what is it? Like, what kind
It's
of
good.
It's there's so many different kinds of it, and it's like it's all you get down here for 6 weeks. Like it's king cake. There are whole parties where it's nothing but buffets of different king cakes, and you're like,
apple, cinnamon, lemon,
cream,
chantilly, all of it.
Listen, when I went to New Orleans,
I like
and
that.
I had like beignets like every corner I had. That was the
Really?
Every corner I saw when I went and got it. My stomach.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. You go too much.
My stomach couldn't either. It was a great trip.
Don't eat like you live here. Like you don't. No, I bought a juicer. You know what I mean? Get a juicer and a bicycle. You'll be fine.
Yeah, because your ass will really feel it. I'm telling you. I'm serious.
Good.
Everything in moderations, okay? Everything in moderation. You can't eat the king cake.
Have you met me?
Derwin and his Mike and Ike's. We talk about Derwin and his Mike and Ike's, and me and my.
Don't put me on Front Street.
Listen, my gummy bears. I buy a jumbo bag of gummy bears every time I go to the store. Like I never not have gummy bears, and I will sit, and I'm like, I'm only gonna eat 10 of these. 10 handfuls.
Right there. When you have to tell yourself, I'm only going to X.
Yep.
I don't even lie to myself, honey. I'm just
only gonna.
It is what it is. We could I buy it and I'm like, well, we'll see what's gonna happen. We're just gonna see. I'll surprise myself, maybe. So, Doug, why don't you tell us where we can find you, how our listeners and our viewers can connect with you or just witness your continued journey on social media?
I can't believe I'm still on Twitter. I had a little revenge porn situation, which we didn't go into. But I do have a Twitter account. Yeah, look at your faces. It's hysterical.
And we could go into the story. I would love to. Like, I'm like,
I've got a Facebook page and I'm on Instagram. Doug Spearman.
Luckily, because some people got to put the official Doug Spearman
underscore.
You got lucky.
No, I just got lucky. I just Doug Spearman.
Oh, well, yeah. I want to say that seeing you with Noah's Ark, or just the impact that it had, seeing a show, because I seen Queer as Folk, and I was like, okay, all right, and then I seen Noah's Ark, and I said, this is what we need, right?
I saw Noah's Ark first.
I seen Queer as Folk, and I said, this is not I don't see me, right? I don't see, and I didn't see that, and then I seen the dimension and the complexities of characters in Noah's Ark. So I really appreciate just you as an actor. Your success and everything that you've been doing has been so amazing. I love that you have been yourself throughout it all. Like you are a character, and then when it's over, pirate. You know, when it's done, I'm shaving off the goatee. I love that you're saying I am not allowing my story to be told from the narrative of chance. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure it's important. I imagine that with the show meaning so much to gay Black men like us, that when people do approach you, you get it a lot. And I mean, it has to be a blessing, but I also understand that it can be a limiting experience when you know you've done all this work and will continue to do more, which is why we're very excited for your future endeavors. But you do have to know how much it means to have you here in the space with us, knowing that I mean, I'm a part of a whole generation of Black gays who have found space for identity because of that show, and your inclusion in it is honestly invaluable.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I mean, it's extraordinary to have had to have that experience and to touch that many people, and to be part of conversations, that really hard conversations that people had at the time in order to come out to their families. Do you know what I mean? And I had my own struggles around the show and my experiences in it, but what it gave to the world was greater than anything that I could complain about or went through.
Well, make sure you all check out Tall Girl 2 on Netflix. So first of all, I actually watched Tall Girl 2. I think the first one, I think that was the one I was like, I don't know, but I did watch Tall Girl 2. But make sure you all check out Tall Girl 2 and 02. I love you. Amazing work, Doug. Thank you so much for, that work and seeing your story be told to everyone. And you all, if you want to continue the conversation with me on my platform, you can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter at _Lord Every. That is _LORDEVERY.
And you guys know you can find me on Instagram at Derwin King. That's DERWINKING. And on Twitter at Free Negro. That's FREENEGREAUX.
And you can all follow the Instagram and the Twitter of the podcast at That Black Boy Joy. You all can also hit us up on YouTube. Check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment at That Black Boy Joy. You all can also shoot us an email, or if you want to be a guest on the show, hit us up at That Black Boy Joy podcast at gmail.com. And we also, as of today, as you all probably have seen on social media by the time this drops, we are looking for a social media intern. So if you all are interested in being a part of our team, please
help a nigga out.
blackboyjoypodcast at gmail.com. And with that being said, please be so in love with who you are.